I think I'd rather just wing my life than plan it all perfectly and still feel lost. It's strange to me because the idea of winging it in society is usually demonized and looked down upon. It's promoted that you want to have a plan and almost rigorously stick to it. There's this normal sort of path that you follow where you go to school so that you can go to university, so that you can get a job, so that you can get a house, a car, partner, stability, all of that, right? And there's this big push for stability. And paired with, the current cost of living and fear of failure, I think most people give into that. Not necessarily that it's a bad thing, but most people opt for the stability. And they tell themselves, I have this holiday to look forward to, or in 50 years, once I retire, then I'll be able to enjoy life. But I think what a lot of people need to understand is this path isn't universal. It's not a required path, and it's not a bad thing, but maybe it's not the only way to live. So I've been thinking about what the differences are between winging it and stability, right? Winging it and following the path. And winging it is something that often looks irresponsible, right? You shouldn't quit that job to pursue your passion, or you shouldn't go traveling for years because this is a good time to start saving money for a mortgage. And in that aspect, stability feels safer, right? You plan ahead for what your life's going to be for the next 20 years. But I ask you as a viewer, do you really want to know what your life will be like for the next 20 years? Because personally, I don't, right? That's not for me. Stability seems to be about this routine, these expectations. But to me, I think part of that is also a sense of feeling stuck, right? Every day feeling the same and knowing what tomorrow will bring. Whereas with winging it, I think there's certainly this greater sense of uncertainty and instability. But I'd almost say that that's part of what's enjoyable about it, right? Not knowing what the future will hold. And I mean, a lot of people will judge for winging it. They'll see winging it as failure, right? Being irresponsible or immature. But I think there's a lot of reasons why winging it is better. Sure, when you're winging it, you might feel completely unprepared and thrown off and stressed out to some degree, but you're also going to discover opportunities that you didn't know existed, and you'll have the opportunity to fail more and fail faster. And maybe more failure sounds like a bad thing. When you fail more, you learn more, you become more experienced, and you become a more developed person, right? More adaptable person. And I think in that aspect, winging it is a good thing, especially if you're someone who doesn't have that many life experiences, who hasn't tried that many things. It's more often through winging it that you're able to discover what you actually like. Whereas if you make a plan when you're 18 and you stick with it until 25, right? Often a lot of people will take a university degree, for example. A lot of people will start their degree and within the first year they'll discover that they don't enjoy it, but they'll finish their degree and then they'll get a job in that field that they don't enjoy and they'll stay into it because it's about sticking with the plan, staying with stability. But at the end of the day, wouldn't you say that winging it would be better in that aspect? It would be more fulfilling because, I mean, even if you're earning less money, as long as you have enough, if you're doing something fulfilling, wouldn't you be happier with your life? I think there's this sense of stability, meaning control. And a lot of people want to have this control, but winging it provides you with that experience that I think can lead to more fulfillment overall. And look, I'm not telling all of you viewers to quit your job and start a band or travel the world, but I think there's a power to winging it that's very unacknowledged these days. It's through winging it that you can remove overthinking, right? And but when you're winging something, there will be stress because you don't really know how to do whatever it is you're pursuing. But you're not going to be thinking about the what if I did something else. You're going to be focused on your dream, right? And you're not going to have time to simulate those outcomes of what if this goes wrong, what if this goes wrong. You're just going to take action. And I think that's powerful, because it's through thinking less that you're able to make more action. And overall, you just start to feel lighter, right? Your mind becomes lighter. You become freer. You become more confident in yourself because you've experienced more, you failed more, and you know what you're capable of. So I think maybe what I'm trying to say is that life isn't supposed to be perfectly planned, at least in my opinion. More that it's something that should be moved through, should be experienced. And I think, at least in current days, people plan too hard, trying to see what the next 50 years of their life will be when they haven't discovered themselves. So I think for a lot of us, especially if you're young, then you should wing it as much as you can, as long as the other situation isn't catastrophic failure. I'd say go for it, try things, wing things. And look, if you're fine with just stability and doing the same thing, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and that's okay. But I just think it's not for me, and I feel like a lot of us owe it to ourselves to try things, wing things, and discover things before we commit to doing them for the rest of our life. Anyway, if any of you guys enjoyed the video, then I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.